Hello, my dear beloved friends. I will be glad to share with you information about one very interesting and unusual place. Right away, I want to confess that I did not find this place myself, and I found out about it when I was shown amazing pictures. When I saw them, I did not even believe that it is not a drawn picture, not Photoshop, and that they are generally made on our planet Earth. After all, on the photos I saw real Martian landscapes. Not believing that it was really possible, and that I would be able not only to capture unusual landscapes on my camera, but also to walk on them, I started to get ready for a small trip. Driven by the desire to get on the road as soon as possible, I quickly packed my backpack. I want to note that I usually pack long and quite meticulously, calculating how much food I need, watching the weather to see if the rain will take me by surprise, collecting a first aid kit. But today was an exception. My impulse to get there as quickly as possible so rushed my packing that literally, an hour later, I was on my way. The road to the quarry was a fascinating one, and though I got there by car and spent not so much time on the road, I enjoyed the local scenery. But let us not focus on that, but fully and completely immerse ourselves in the place for the sake of which this journey was conceived. Long before I drove up to the site, the size of the quarry, it was so huge that it was visible from several kilometers away. When I got closer, I was struck by the unusual beauty of the surrounding nature. There were fields of flowers all around, and there were no colors there. I think any artist at that moment would have envied me, because so many shades of different colors are quite rare. In the middle of all this splendor, a huge quarry with crystal clear water and a big mountain of sand was growing out of the ground. So blue crystal clear water I saw only when I was on vacation in the Maldives. Golden crumbly sand with small sparkling particles, hot sun, and cases of which during the day everyone hides in the shade, and amazing views fell deep into my heart. But the most amazing thing awaited me ahead. What I had come here for, namely the amazing, extraordinary Martian landscape. But before that, I want to share with you the story of the quarry's education, and although it is quite ordinary, but I think you will be interested. I'll tell you right away, everything is quite banal and simple. Once upon a time limestone was mined here, but as you know, everything comes to an end, and after the mining stopped, the quarry filled with water, so a rather deep and beautiful lake was formed. Often it is that attracts people on hot days, because refresh yourself in crystal clear water within the city. Not such an easy challenge, but not only for the clear water travelers come here. I, Kaki, many others whom I met here, was interested in the amazing Martians, and I headed there. You can't get to the place by car, you can only go there on foot. Having overcome several steep descents and ascents, I climbed up to a huge plateau. The soil in this place had a reddish color, and after asking questions I found out that it was saturated with iron. It was as if I had come to another planet. The first thing that caught my eye were the red dunes, the hills, and the many dunes. I felt like an explorer walking on the surface of Mars. The only thing that made me different from an astronaut was the lack of a spacesuit and weightlessness. These dunes and hills gave the impression of a miniature desert with Martians covered with red clay. The wind was blowing between them and kicking up a little dust. I took a few pictures, trying to capture this unusual sight. I continued on my way and came across deep ravines and narrow canyons. Erosion and weathering had created bizarre shapes here, reminiscent of Martian valleys. I descended into one of the ravines and felt the dramatic elevation changes and twisting shapes create spectacular and dramatic vistas. In the distance, I noticed white and grey salt marsh areas that further enhanced the resemblance to an alien landscape. Despite the stark appearance, I noticed that there were many plants and animals living here. To the sound of the ether, I could hear birds singing. There were grasses, shrubs, and even trees growing along the water bodies. I was amazed at how life had adapted to these conditions. The Martian landscapes of the Bornica quarry are a real paradise for photographers. I took many pictures, trying to catch every corner of this amazing place. Especially impressive were the views at sunset and at dawn, when the sunlight gave the landscapes even more vivid and saturated colors. If you're into photography, there's plenty here to photograph and make real masterpieces of landscape photography. I decided to go hiking to explore the area in more detail. There are different routes here, and I chose one of medium difficulty. The path took me through hills, along canyons and ravines. Along the way I met other hikers and tour groups with guides who talked about the geology and history of the quarry. I stopped to listen and learned a lot. I couldn't pass up the opportunity to spend the night in this amazing place. There are no hotels here, but it is possible to spend the night. I found a convenient camping spot, pitched my tent, and had a small picnic. At night I lay under the starry sky, admiring the silence and beauty of the surrounding landscape. It was an unforgettable feeling to be alone with nature, in a place that seems not earthly at all. The Martian landscapes of the Bornica quarry are a place that will always remain in my memory. I returned home with the feeling that I had visited another planet and with the desire to come back here again. It is a place that inspires and amazes, where nature has created something truly unique and beautiful. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Subscribe to the channel. There will be many more interesting things to come.